We don't get better just because another pitcher fails. You cannot control what others think of you or say of you, like you cannot control them. And all we can control is being a good teammate. I'm there to perform and to do my job, right? And that is to challenge myself, continue to get better, compete with every batter, and be a good teammate and cheer on, because a pitcher cannot win a game by herself. Welcome to the Weekly Dose. I'm Jamie Southern, and we are going to continue with April talking about the uncontrollables. This topic is something that might connect with some of y'all, and I know that growing up, I had to deal with it a little bit, and so it is jealousy amongst your teammates. Now, we've talked about the weather, injuries, umpires, right? But another thing that we cannot control is our teammates, right? And we assume it's jealousy because it's bad, being a bad teammate and trying to hurt you and things like that. And it happens to pitchers. Right? It happens to pitchers, and it's very common, and it really just has to stop. I am in college coaching now, and I feel like the majority of our pitchers are like, they get along so well. They support one another. They are kind. So they'll be pitching in the bullpen and they look over and they're like, oh my gosh, great pitch. They give compliments. Like, it is so nice to see that they're good people on top of being a pitcher. And sometimes I think the most difficult age with jealousy is mostly that middle school, right? I mean, that's just hard time in life with girls, let alone trying to compete for a spot or to get more innings or all those different things. But how I grew up and how the pitchers are growing up now is different. Back in the day, we would have like two great pitchers on a travel ball team, and that's kind of what it was, and you would just kind of alternate, and so there wasn't a whole lot of jealousy because you were a team and you had to rely on each other because you couldn't pitch every single game, right? I remember in 16 and unders, it was me and Mandy Burton, and we were such a good staff together. And we did have another pitcher that didn't get as many innings, but in nationals, like, we would just kind of alternate the games pretty much, and we ended up winning the ASA, which is equivalent to like PGF now, but it was the top of the top players, and we won that. We had to beat in the championship game, we had to beat the other team 2 times, and I pitched the first game, we won, and then she pitched the second game and we won. Like, there was no jealousy. It was like, we just got to get this done. Nowadays, there are more pitchers, even in travel ball teams, as you get older and older, and there's different reasons why. You're playing a lot of games, but also that some pitchers struggle to get through an entire game or go through the lineup 2-3 times, and so they have to switch pitchers more frequently than they did before. Place their pitchers throughout tournaments, especially the week tournaments that are longer. So hopefully the jealousy is going out of the picture, because that is needed, right? But what I do know is that you cannot control what others think of you or say of you, like, you cannot control them. And it's such an important message for parents to teach your kids now, because life is hard. Even just because we're 40 or 30 or whatever, however old you are, they're still mean people, and they're gonna talk and they're gonna say things. And so, as soon as I learned, like, I cannot control what they think of me or what they say. Like, all I can control is my actions and my reactions. And I'm just gonna go out there and do what the coach needs me to do. And I'm gonna support my teammates and be, a cheerleader for them, because we're a team and we have to win together. But the earlier you teach your pitchers this, and pitchers, like, listen, like, you can't control. I remember I was 12 and under, and I had another pitcher on my staff and for my team, and I was probably the starter if you had to compare, but she got definitely more innings than the third pitcher, right? And we liked each other. We were friends. Like, I would say, you know, Dad, can she come over? And we would just hang out and play, and we were friends. But one day at practice, we were working on pass balls and pitchers covering and the plate, and I was the runner at third, and so we were working on base running as well, and running in and sliding, and I didn't accidentally, I slid into the plate, and she was right there, and that's just kind of what happens, right, when there's a play at the plate, and so it kind of knocked her down easily. I'm not trying to take anybody out, and her dad at practice came running at me, calling me the B word. And I'm like, what is going on, right? Because she's my friend in my mind. Now, that's where we kind of go into, sometimes this jealousy starts at the parent level. And some of you aren't going to like to hear that, but some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, you nailed this, right? Parents are the ones that are embarrassed that their daughter's not getting enough pitching time, or they're jealous of other pitchers, or yada, 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 right? And it starts from there. Me and her had no problem, but her dad obviously did not care for me because I was getting majority of innings. So, parents, be supportive, keep those thoughts and comments private to your spouse, because my parents were so good with that. I didn't know any of the drama going on, and my dad coached every other year. So, had he come home to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe so-and-so's mom was talking about this, then I would have kind of probably taken it out on the girl. What are you doing talking about my dad, But they didn't. And that was something that I appreciate now, because I could just go play the game, have my friends on my team, and not get into all of that parent drama. We know we can't control the teammate that's being mean to us, and all we can control is being a good teammate. So that means we are seeing the best in our teammates. We are cheering them on. If they come in for us and they get out of the inning, we are thankful, right? Thank you for having my back in the time where I was struggling. We struggle. You see college pitchers, they struggle. They get pulled in the inning. It's not such a bad thing, but you have to answer back and react and be like, yes, thank you, because you're going to have their back one day. Right? We have to know that we don't get better just because another pitcher fails. And I think that goes on at all the levels, where we're secretly hoping they struggle so that it makes us maybe the starting pitcher. Well, that didn't really make me any better, right? It gave me a title, but I'm still average if I've always been average. Doesn't mean just because I'm the starter, I'm this great pitcher, right? We have to continue to look within ourselves of how we can get better, but her performance does not make me look any different. We need to give compliments, right? Like I told you, my pitchers on staff, they'll be like, oh, that was a great changeup, or gosh, you sold that really well, right? Build each other up. In a world that loves to put people down, be a team, because a team beats the other team. And I want you guys to remember that. So encourage and compliment your teammates, right? Just know and accept that they're going to be different than you. They're going to have different strengths than you are. And that's what makes you guys good together. And so don't be jealous of what she's got such an amazing rise ball. Yeah, but you have something that's so good too. And then together, you're going to be unbeatable when you're facing a team, right? If you have low pitches and she has the rise ball, then you're going to start them off low. She's going to come in and you're going to get those victories and those wins together. Another big thing is the gossip, right? It's very common with insecurities and insecure girls to grab another teammate and to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe so-and-so, all that junk. Don't go there. It makes you look bad. And if your friend is doing that and pulling you in, don't participate in it. Say, hey, you know what? I don't want to go there. She's my teammate, right? I tell my girls on my college team, and I tell my daughters, you don't have to be friends with everybody on your team. There were players on my team that I did not care for, but I respected, and they didn't know that, right? People didn't know that oh, there's something about them, right? They're lazy, they're this or that I just like, I wasn't connected with them enough. I was not mean. I don't think I put them down. I did not gossip amongst others. Like, I'm there to perform and to do my job, right? And that is to challenge myself, continue to get better, compete with every batter, and be a good teammate and cheer on, because a pitcher cannot win a game by herself. So most likely the other players look up to y'all because you are the pitcher. Doesn't mean you have to be the leader if you don't want to be the leader, but you are a leader in the sense of that's your position and you're starting the play. So we want to make sure that we are nipping things before they get crazy, and that we are the positive focus for the team so that others can see. But it's natural. I will say it is natural to have those little like jealousies, right? And we know they're not good to have. But when you start to be like, oh my gosh, like, give a compliment, like change your mindset to say, no, she is good and I'm glad she's on my team. And how to deal with that, like I said, you can't change your teammate. That's something you can't control, but you can move forward and focus on you, focus on your positive teammates. Sometimes there's just that player on your team that just is the energy sucker, right? They just suck the energy out of the team. They cause drama. You just let them go. Let them go. Let them be by themselves. Let them have that one teammate that they talk to. That's okay. You take the majority of your team and be that leader for your team and focus on the positives. I know there's always, if you are a great pitcher, there is going to be targets on your back, right? People want that position. People want to be the starting pitcher. People want your success. And that was my case. And my dad always said, Jamie, like, you just keep being you. Because when somebody meets you and they've heard these bad things about you, and then they go to meet you, they're going to be like, that is so far from the truth. Like, she's only been kind to me. She's only been fun, She's only included me. Those are the things that are going to impact, but we can't control that jealousy. So you keep focusing on your goals and where you want to be. If you have a problem, you should speak up to your coach. The coach is the leader. He is leading the team, and or female, but the coaches are leading the team, and they need to know when there is stuff going on, right? It needs to happen, as much as it's difficult to do. But if it's bothering you that much, you need to approach it, because some of the times, coaches, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Unless somebody kind of leaks that information, not tattles, but just is like, hey, like, keep an eye out on so-and-so, like, right? Now I'm just like, what is going on? Because I never thought that. So your coach is dealing with a lot of stuff. Sometimes they're just not aware of that. So if it's bothering you, speak up. And it might be hard because it might be their daughter, but it still needs to happen. It still needs to happen, or approach and talk to the girl, right? I would tell my daughters, have you talked to her? Have you said, like, are you saying these things? Because that's not true, right? Like, confront it, grow up, put your big girl panties on and do hard things, but you can't control it. You can approach it and try to like get it figured out so you can feel good about everything and move on. But if that's not the case, you do you. You do you. Okay? This is it's a hard thing, because everybody's going to deal with it at some point in their little pitching career. But I encourage you to not hurt them back and to be the bigger person. Okay? It's easy to just kind of like, snap back at them and, say some things, but now you're just going to that level. You be you. You be the good teammate. You show everybody on your team that what they're saying is not true. Don't partake in any of the gossip, right? Because there are thousands and thousands of recruitable athletes out there that your skill level is very similar to hundreds of others, and the coach wants the better teammate. So if you can start that now, you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to stand out, right? The coaches are going to be like praising you that not only can you do this on the field, but you're also such a good supportive teammate. right? Because we know as college coaches how bad teammates can ruin a team, and they don't want that. So let them be them and you be you, okay? Check out the workout of the week tomorrow, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.